Hello everyone, welcome to the Weekly Wrestling Review. I'm Hal,
I'm Chaz.
and this week we'll be covering the Raw for the 25th of May and the SmackDown for the 29th of May. Not too much to go on for news this week, beyond a few rehirings as far as WWE. Yeah, as far as rumours are concerned, apparently Drake Maverick was one.
Yeah, he's the underdog story, if anything. Apparently his Instagram and Twitter rants
His whole social media campaign, yeah.
So they may turn his whole thing into an underdog story where he wins the belt and gets a contract. Drew Gulak was another one they were considering, upon reports that I was hearing. And obviously the Kurt Angle,
who has appeared on both NXT and SmackDown.
Yeah. Possibly more as well, but I didn't read too much into it. They were just the names that...
Of course, other people have also been reported to have gone to places like Impact.
Yeah.
I think EC3 was / Derek Bateman was one of those.
Yeah, back on Impact Wrestling.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it seems like those people are all getting jobs, which is great, whether that's with WWE or not. It's good to see that they are getting rehired somewhere, they're getting work.
Also, there was one about Zack Ryder possibly going to AEW to challenge Cody for the TNT Championship.
That's right, yeah.
That was one I did hear. We'll see how that one goes.
Yeah. So this is also the first week where WWE have seemingly followed in AEW's shoes by having some of their trainees appear as a sort of crowd.
Yeah.
Mysteriously, WWE also decided to have plexiglass.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to, because that doesn't do much of its intended job this week. But Raw started with the Kevin Owens show. His guest for the show was Asuka.
Yeah.
She doesn't really get to say much before we get an interruption from Charlotte.
No, we do get the Becky chance.
Yeah.
She seems to be more happy about Becky's pregnancy than Becky was. And then you had Kevin Owens' punch. She's not the man anymore. She's now the mum. They tried to make something fun out of the situation. But yeah, nothing really happens until Charlotte really steps in.
Charlotte, of course, being who she is, has to talk about how I've beaten you before.
Yeah.
That's, And then, of all people to come out next was Natalya.
Yeah.
Notably, Kevin Owens makes sure to move some of his little setup because of her previous tantrum.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're actually planning to do something with Natalya, if this is not one of those things just end up being flat. I don't know where this is going.
It always
it's
seems
very
to
odd.
happen with Natalya. She just gets put in random segments at random times.
And it'd be fine if, also you have people like Theory, who was put into something at random due to a circumstance. And there's some other people, and there's in fact a weird push that came out of nowhere to happen on SmackDown this week that we'll get to.
Yeah.
But the thing is, a lot of time, we don't know with the SmackDown thing, but a lot of time these go somewhere. Even if they don't end up ultimately landing anywhere, it seems like when Natalya is just...
It never goes
She's
anywhere.
there to fill a role.
Yeah.
But after she's filled that role, there is nothing for her after that.
Yeah. She just fades.
Which is very frustrating.
You don't see her for months.
No.
And then all of a sudden she's there again.
She's gone long enough you sometimes forget she's employed.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's pretty much been her whole WWE run. I mean,
yeah.
You won't believe that she's been there since 2007.
It's crazy.
That's she's a veteran, don't get me wrong. She's talented, don't get me wrong. But she never seems to have a story.
Mm. After her night, Jax comes out, and naturally this ultimately comes to blows with Asuka and Jax fighting. Kevin Owens very briefly and very in vain tries to keep the peace.
Yeah.
Doesn't work out too well. Nia Jax ends up on top in this segment. Oh, sorry. I completely missed my words. At the end of the segment, though, Asuka's the one on top.
Yeah.
Trying to make her look strong, obviously.
Well, she's the new women's champion, so...
I think this... beyond the fact that this was obviously the trajectory they were going with anyways, I think this makes the result of the later match tonight pretty obvious.
Yeah.
We do end up getting our first match of the night after this segment, though, with Andrade and Apollo Crews.
Yes. The
Now,
United States title match.
Yep, the United States title match. Andrade starts to control. Interestingly, this back elbow, which I remember the first time I saw this, looked like an accident.
Yeah.
But it sort of slowly became like his signature / finisher. Crews just kicks out of it.
Yeah.
It's a big move. From there, it's mostly Apollo Crews. At one point, Andrade is knocked into Vega.
Yeah.
And this fires up Andrade a little bit. But by the end, Apollo Crews hits a military press and 2 standing shooting stars and gets the win. And we have a new United States champion.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's great. Apollo Crews' push. There's a weird... The weird thing about it is the amount of offense Apollo Crews got in the whole match. Normally when you see a title match where the challenger dominates 90% of the match, the champion ends up retaining somehow. But there wasn't much offense from Andrade, which kind of got me worried that Apollo Crews wasn't going to get a good outcome to the push he's been receiving.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, when he won, I was genuinely shocked. Before the match, I thought there was a chance, but during the match, I was getting a bit, maybe. But, he won.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good for him.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know Paul Heyman's the mastermind behind bringing him to Raw backstage. Whenever he has an eye for talent, big things happen. So this could be the start of something really big for Apollo Crews.
Yeah. This leads to a bit of a tantrum backstage.
Yeah.
Andrade
just throwing stuff everywhere.
Yeah, isn't happy. We briefly see Seth Rollins with Rey Mysterio's mask.
Yeah.
And then after we get back from the break, we have Seth Rollins introducing us to Austin Theory.
Yes.
And it seems like Theory and Murphy are now the team of this stable, referred to as Seth Rollins' disciples.
Do you know the thing is, as well, is this is one of those groups that you can see a lot of following. There's like Austin Theory joined, right? So you got Buddy Murphy. I don't know whether what's been going on in the world has affected AOP.
I assume it's just AOP can't make it for whatever reason, or have decided not to.
You had them.
Yeah.
You got Austin Theory. This is one of those things that I can see being like a modern day ministry. You know, I don't think Austin Theory is going to be the last person we see joining.
Guess we'll see. We have the Iconics next, coming out to the ring. They spent, after some brief making up between the two, they mostly just rag on Bliss and Cross.
Yeah.
Which prompts the women's tag champions to come out to the ring. Now, Nikki Cross goes to speak, is interrupted, and then Cross just goes right through that interruption and performs what I think is one of the... Now, there's a few good promos this week.
Yeah.
But this is one of the strong ones. I thought Nikki Cross came out really well, the way she put across, talking about having to scratch and claw her way up the WWE sort of ladder, and how Bliss had to take a chance on her, and the things they've gone through and the things they've learned of each other is what's made them an iconic tag team.
Yeah, there's a play on the word there.
Yeah, which the Iconics didn't take well. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay attacking the two, managing to blindside the women's tag champions and ultimately taking out both of them.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I like all 4 women in this. You know, I get the Iconics, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce. I get they can be a bit too full on, and I can get how a lot of people will find them annoying. But for me, they're the...
It's sort of like lay cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, their job is to be heels.
Yeah.
Right? They are meant to annoy you. They are meant to anger you. And if they do that,
they're doing the job correctly.
They're doing their job correctly.
There are of course ways to go overboard. I think of the Michael Cole heel turn.
Yes.
But I think that's more due to the fact that he is a consistent presence throughout an entire show.
Yeah.
Rather than being too aggressively obnoxious. I think that's more just down to how much he's there for.
Yeah.
When it's in short bursts like this, it's annoying for the moment, but I think as long as it goes somewhere, I think it's good heel momentum.
Yes.
This works. This isn't like heat to the point where you just want him to go away. This is good.
Yeah, I like how Nikki Cross got a lot more mic time.
Yeah.
You know, she's normally like Alexa Bliss would do most of the talking, and Nikki Cross would be there for like the comedy.
Yeah, she'll add a few little bits here and there.
But this was like a strong, serious promo from Nikki Cross.
Which she probably hasn't got since NXT, I would imagine.
No,
I don't think she's ever gotten it on the two major shows.
The thing is, she is a good talker. She's passionate in like everything she does, in the ring, out the ring. She loves the business, and that reflects in her character. You can always tell in characters like who really are passionate about what they're doing.
We'll get to the rest of it because she appears again on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Where even more so she gets to showcase a different side of her. But we'll get to that. But she got a lot of really good time this week, and it was really nice to see her actually be able to show her personality and show her talent for in-ring mic work. MVP is out to the ring next.
Don't forget the backstage segment where first Lana comes in.
Oh, that's right. I could have sworn I wrote that down.
There's a part where Lana, MVP's backstage, and Lana walks in, saying they need to talk.
I have that way later. Did I fuck up the order of that one?
I don't know. It's just got it under here. Look, it's got the cross and that. And then MVP is backstage, and then the Shad Gaspard, and then the VIP lounge.
Okay, that makes more sense. Maybe I just fucked up the order when I was.
There was also one thing up here before when they were before the iconic thing. There was also one little thing here apparently about Charlotte Flair's interview about becoming 2-time double champion or whatever.
I didn't think there was much there, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay, so we'll go to the Lana thing. I'm assuming that's in order. I think I might have just fucked up when I was going through my notes.
Yeah, it just says MVP is backstage and Lana comes in, asks if there's something he can help her with. She says they need to talk.
Yeah, I remember the segment. I remember the segment now. I just had it way later for some reason. I had it right before the main event, but right before the tag team match. So after the Iconics and Bliss and Cross, we went backstage to Lana and MVP.
Yeah.
Not too much to talk about here. This is just like the furthering of this, and it's really weird the pacing.
Yeah.
Of this.
Like Lana's been sort of pushed aside by Bobby Lashley,
but they keep bringing attention to it, which is really weird.
Like MVP has now become the manager, and it's almost like Lana's like the jealous girlfriend now. You know, she wants to be a part of it, and I think I don't know how Lana's gonna fit into it. Whether they're gonna keep fitting her into it.
I feel like Lana's just kind of being like. I don't know if. I feel like Lana's just being like used by WWE here. Like it just feels like they're just doing this to like you know, like when we talk about like things like Corbin must have done something backstage, keep losing, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be the last time Lana's been embarrassed. I remember she said she did or said something backstage which led to, I think it was a few years ago, where it led to them doing a whole segment with The Rock, Rusev and Lana backstage. The really awkward thing.
We won't talk about that.
So I don't know if it's another one of those situations where they're doing this to sort of use her being contracted to him to make fun of her or to punish her for something. Because it's just weird that she's there.
Yeah.
Like, usually when stuff like this happens, there's a reason for it, or the old manager will just get kicked off of TV or go somewhere else. But every time it just seems like it's a brief thing for her to just act really upset and piss off. It's really weird. I don't know where it's going. I really don't.
Anyway, after the commercial break, we did get the Shad Gaspard tribute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good to see.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see. Like, WWE don't normally publish that. They do in like certain respects when a wrestler's retired, but it's very weird when they're active in the independent circuit for them to, acknowledge it. It was nice.
Yeah, they usually only acknowledge people that were on the active roster or particular legends of the business that had a long tenure with them.
Yeah, apparently also Shad Gaspard and JTG did have a few mishaps backstage during their time with WWE as well. So, you know, all that being said, a lot of bad things get said about Vince McMahon, but he allowed this one to go, and I think that's a show of character.
Mm. After that, we had MVP out in the ring, inviting Drew McIntyre to come out. MVP talks about how he had offered to be Drew's manager and had gotten a Claymore kick in response. Drew McIntyre decides to add that little anecdote about, well, it's obviously a kick. You don't have to call it a kick. I think it's obvious.
Yeah.
Which is fun. I don't know. I really like Drew on the mic as well.
Yeah, you know what? It's like the thing with Drew is like he's sarcastic a lot of the time. Like when he's talking.
Now, apparently, he might be one of the few to be unscripted. I believe there was a news story that came out a week or two ago, or maybe a little longer, where someone had actually talked to him about like what it's like to be unscripted on W programs. So it's possible that he might actually be one of the very few that get to run off their own words. And I think, and again, I'm saying it, he's one of the best ones that we hear talk. And I think that's like a big part of it a lot of the time.
Do you know what? I was just about to say that. I mean, we spend a lot of time, gunning down people on the mic. But then we fail to realise that a lot of the time, they are scripted. Yeah. They're saying what's in front of them, what they've had to memorise backstage and come out and say. We're talking 15-minute segments, you know, with stuff that can happen in between. Yeah. So you've got to read and prepare and pause at the right times.
No, I remember there was that post that went around, I think 2 or 3 years back, and it was someone had gotten leaks of a Raw script that was recent at the time and compared it to a Raw script that had been leaked ages ago that was from I think it was 98 or 99. And, like, you can really see a difference. One is, like, just a load of basic notes and, like, a few important lines and stuff. And the other thing is, like, an entire fucking screenplay, basically.
Yeah. It was one... I don't know if it's the same one you're talking about, but there was one where it opened... It said, show opens, pyros, all that. And then underneath John Cena, cue John Cena. And then it was a full page of what John Cena said, and if you go to that Raw, it's word for word. Like everything John Cena said that day is on that piece of paper. Yeah. So the whole thing was scripted. Now, this is where you can turn around and say this is probably why he sounds like he does on the mic. Obviously, he gives his personality in the words, but you know when stuff comes out and they say silly things. Like do you remember Roman Reigns with the whole sucker and sucker dash? What if that wasn't him that wrote that? He's just saying.
Oh, he almost certainly did.
You know?
But so it's a double-edged sword as well. It's worth noting. It's worth playing devil's advocate and saying that it's a double-edged sword. Because on one hand, yes, everyone being scripted has led to a lot of people saying the same and some really boring promos and bad deliveries. But at the same time, there's the opposite issue of if most of the stars are not scripted, you know, the people who are really good are going to be really good. But the people who are bad are going to be really bad. And there's also been the issues of people saying things are really out of line and gotten the company in trouble before.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword. So,
but you know, at the same time as well, is you got to have that moment because it is scripted and it's you'll get that thing where they know when to stop and pause for the other person to come in and say what they've got to say. And so on,
and that makes it feel very robotic as well.
Exactly.
Like it's very, you can feel the pauses where something's meant to happen next.
If you just have them, everyone unscripted, you're gonna get like everyone talking over each other, and I don't think it'd make for good segments. So you can understand why they script it, but at the same time, we can't. I feel that we can't really go too hard on the bad promos based on the person giving the promos.
Getting back to the segment, just to get through it, not too much happened beyond. Not too much happened beyond, MVP talking about wanting to be Drew's manager and saying that when Drew claymored him, he sort of realized that he had it and he was going to be the next champion. So if Drew wasn't going to go for him, he needed to find a person that would be the champion after Drew. And he believes he's found that in Lashley. Lashley starts coming out to the ring. And he ends up not even really getting stared at Drew because Drew hits MVP. MVP gets out the ring, pretty much.
Yeah.
And he and Lashley just go for it. They just leave.
Yeah.
They head off. And from there, we moved on to Kevin Owens versus Angel Garza.
Yes.
Now,
this was quite a short match.
Yeah. Before the match even begins, Garza manages to get Owens. And we go to a break, and the match starts when we get back. Or I believe the match is underway when we get back. I'm not sure if it's just underway. So, but yeah, a lot of this is Garza attacking Owens.
From the beginning, it was like as soon as the bell rang, he went straight for the leg.
Yeah, he was just working immediately on leg, which is a smart move because obviously, as we find out later, when Owens goes for his powerbomb, because his leg's been worked on so much, he can't actually get the balance to pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
And this allows Garza to hit the wing clipper and get the pin.
Yeah.
And Owens lost.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising. That one was surprising. I get Garza's getting pushed and everything, but we're talking Kevin Owens coming off the back of WrestleMania with the win over Seth Rollins, been away for a while.
You wonder, I think this is like, what is that, the second match he's had since WrestleMania?
Exactly. you know, so, yeah, I mean, I get Garza's the one being pushed. I just found it a bit weird.
It would be nice if Owens had a bit more to give for this match.
Yeah. It was such a short match. And
next, we have another Street Profits Viking Raiders segment.
Don't forget Garza attacking him after the match.
Oh, fucking hell. Sorry, I keep my notes. Oh, no, I do actually have that. Yeah, I just completely skipped over it. So, yeah. After the match, Garza does attack Owens.
Yeah, carries on
going
down, after the leg. Do you know what I love as well? Is you got the NXT. It's the NXT and the performance people in the crowd.
Yeah,
and they're just jeering Garza.
Right,
like they're full on booing and everything. They're proper.
It is nice to have something like that. It
gives you that sort of crowd atmosphere that you've been missing.
But so one thing I want to find out here before we move on actually is that I was worried about them splitting up this team. But so far, it seems like they're giving all three something to do.
Yeah.
Theory's joined Rollins is stable.
And Andrade and Garza look strong.
Yeah, Andrade seems to be going for... He will be having a program with Cruz, I imagine, for a little bit. And Garza just got a win over Kevin Owens, who's arguably higher up the list than he is.
This could be one of those things. Look, Andrade losing the United States title. If Cruz then retains it in the rematch, this is where you could probably see a more tag team based Andrade and Garza. Maybe.
If they can settle their differences they've had the past few weeks. After that, we had the Street Profits and Viking Raiders.
Yes.
Again.
This
I think this one was a little better.
This one's a little better, but I feel like these are getting a bit silly now. They're trying to cinematic the Raws like they are with the pay-per-views. You know, these are coming across like that now. They're trying to do what they did with the Firefly Funhouse and the Undertaker AJ Styles match at Mania, the Money in the Bank match. That's what I feel with these, and I don't know. As much as they're fun, I'm really just wanting to see the wrestling match now.
Yeah, I think this one was better than the other ones. I particularly liked the gag about the Viking Raiders thinking they won at golf because they had a higher score. That's not how par works, guys.
I don't even understand how par works. I just know they hit the ball.
Par is how many hits you've had of the golf ball.
How do you not even watch golf and know more about golf?
I've played a lot of golf games, unfortunately. That's my own excuse.
How do you not be a fan of golf but still manage to play golf games?
Look, I play baseball games. They're boring to watch as a sport. I enjoy playing them.
See, baseball I don't find boring as a sport.
Boring. Baseball just goes on way too long.
Golf is just a quiet sport where there's loads of people that watch and they don't make a sound.
You enjoy Happy Gilmore?
It's Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
What's not to enjoy?
I'm not going to have a comment on that. We're going to move on to the next match, which is Austin Theory and Buddy Murphy, the Disciples, versus Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo, a different tag partner for Black this week. But I guess this makes sense because Theory and Carrillo have history.
Yeah.
This was short, but I think they got a decent amount in this match for how short it was.
Yeah.
All four still looked good. And it seems obvious that because Theory just got put into the group, that not only do Theory and Murphy win, but Theory gets the final blow with hitting the ATL. Now, after the match, we did have Seth Rollins come out, and he took Humberto Carrillo to the steps. And as Black goes to help his tag partner, Rollins threatens to do the exact same thing he did to Mysterio if he gets any closer. And I liked it. I really like how this is going out. And the interesting thing is, like, the language Seth uses is really morbid, like saying, don't be a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like, don't sacrifice it. Like, the fuck? Like, this is...
It's getting dark. This is what I'm saying. This is why I used the term when I said this could be something like a modern day Ministry.
I think...
Because it's so dark.
Rollins is doing really good character work here. We've not seen much wrestling from him since WrestleMania. Not really.
No, but we're seeing a lot
the
of
character work
behavior.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's some of his strongest character work, I think. Like, period.
Yeah.
Like, even more so than, like, Peak Shield.
Yeah.
Personally. And I think that's really great. And I think it's been really strong. We have Edge backstage.
Yes.
And he talks about being, like, concerned about the match with Owen, not knowing if he can do it anymore, because the last man standing match is one thing. So after that, we had a backstage segment with Edge. He's showing concern about his match with Owen for Backlash, because outside the last man standing match, he's not had a match in years, as compared to Owen, who's still been an active wrestler all the time he's been away.
Yeah, he sort of mentions that, like, he feels that he might have been basking in the glory of WrestleMania because stuff like that doesn't happen often. Yeah, he actually says it in days, like the whole retirement thing. You know, just to add that sort of.
It was a good performance from Edge, and the build up to his match has been good. Although the continued reiteration of it being the greatest match ever is getting really tiring.
It's sort of putting too much pressure on a match.
Yeah.
You know, because if this match fails, this whole build up has been for nothing. You know, so it's a lot to ask when they keep turning the greatest wrestling match ever.
Yeah.
You know, go through history. What is the greatest match of all time? You know, there's so many to choose from. Just standard wrestling.
Yeah.
And the first one that normally comes to mind is your Ricky Steamboat and was it Savage for the Intercontinental title?
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. They're the ones that come to mind. So you know, when you put yourself on a pedestal like that, and I say proper wrestling, like obviously you've got your ladder matches with Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels, but that's a ladder match. We're talking like just a wrestling match,
1-on-1, just a ring.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know, there's so many.
Yeah.
To choose from. It's a high pedestal to turn around and say the greatest match, the greatest wrestling match ever, and the match ain't even happened yet. Yeah, so you're sort of setting yourself up to fail if this isn't perfect.
Really makes me nervous though, because Orton's one of those people that if he isn't into a match, he will not wrestle.
Yeah.
It will get holds until the cows come home. We'll get rest holds forever. But no, the build-up's been good otherwise. Beyond that, we had the Street Profits backstage.
Yeah.
We find out that the Viking Raiders don't have a bowling match challenge with the Viking Raiders next.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget that the Viking Raiders told the Street Profits that they let them win at golf.
Yeah. Considering how the previous two segments went, that's entirely possible because that was a joke, a running gag for that. It's such a weird way to build to a wrestling match. Yeah. Keep doing this.
Then MVP and Lashley.
The interesting part was when Lashley and MVP come out. MVP calls the Street Profits clowns. The Street Profits retaliate by teasing MVP about being laid out by McIntyre.
Yeah.
And we pretty much got our main events up right then and there, which will be the Street Profits versus MVP and Bobby Lashley. It's okay. I saw your hand moving, so I knew you were doing something. After that, we had the number contenders match for the Women's Championship.
Yeah, the triple threat one.
Yep, Nia Jax, Natalya, and Charlotte. Asuka's on commentary for this match.
Yeah, go on, I'm on it.
Okay. Asuka was on commentary for this match.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's always weird to hear her speak, even if, like, she doesn't really know enough English for me to understand what she's saying half the time. She's just got so much energy.
Yeah,
she's got so much energy.
The Japanese and the energy, she makes it more entertaining.
Yeah. For a lot of this match, Nia Jax is double teamed by Natalya and Charlotte, which makes sense. To try and take out the bigger woman. Whenever Nia Jax is out of the match, Natalya and Charlotte are just going back and forth. There's not too much of that though. At one point, Jax is laid out on the announcer's table. Asuka tries to get her back to the ring to let Natalya pin her. That doesn't really work out. But there's not too much to talk about the match. The match ends with Natalya and Charlotte. There's not too much to talk about this match. Really, a lot of it is just showing Nia Jax to be kind of unstoppable, really.
Well, a powerhouse.
I think they even get a few signatures, possibly finishes on her at points, and she just keeps getting back up.
Yeah, the thing is as well, is this match went on for so long as well. So it was just kind of like... It felt like it went on longer than necessary.
Yeah. Which is weird. It's the reverse option of what we get with a lot of the attempts to build up a wrestler in recent weeks. Well, usually will be too short of a match.
Yeah.
This one just felt like it was on longer than it needed to be, to get to the point, to get the point across. But Jax ends up winning, which means we got Asuka and Nia Jax, which I guess is fine. It just has to see how it goes. There's not too much time left to really build up this title match. I think Backlash is in 2 weeks from this week, I believe, or close to that.
When I thought ain't it early June? Is it like the 12th?
That's what I'm saying. From this Raw on SmackDown, it's like a good 2 weeks. So
yeah, about 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a little late, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jackson winning. Next, we had the Gronk. Who doesn't know how to read a script without reading it?
No.
I don't know if you noticed the fact that he never looked at the camera.
Yeah.
When he took those glasses off.
Quite bad.
Really awkward, and I think it's worth knowing that at this point Gronkowski is no longer employed. It was a short and pointless hiring.
Yeah.
I don't know where they were planning to go with it, to be honest, because he didn't even seem to build up any momentum to be a wrestler.
No. He just showed up, put in WrestleMania, became 24/7 champion, and then left.
Yeah.
And now he's no longer employed.
Yeah.
But still has the 24/7 title.
Oh, that's... Maybe maybe our truth will find in a dumpster somewhere. I mean, that's where Tao belongs with the way WWE book it.
Yeah.
But we get to our main event next with the Street Profits, MVP, and Lashley. For this match, it's MVP being the legal man.
Yeah.
Taking offense and dealing offense to Dawkins and Ford. The match ends with cash out, the tag team maneuver from Dawkins and Ford. But after Ford hits from the heavens, Lashley comes in to make the save, grabs Ford, puts him into a full Nelson, and we yet again get a ref rule enforcement as a 5 count is administered because the illegal man is in ring. Lashley does not break the hold, and the Street Profits get a DQ win.
Yeah.
I think this is more just showing that, again, this is more just Lashley showing dominance.
Yeah, I think with this as well is that this is the kind of finish that makes everyone look strong and no one look weak.
I don't think it's a good main event as such.
No.
But I think this worked fine for the moment it is, because Street Profits have their own work to do. They're not really going to suffer from dominating a match and getting one of their members taken out by someone who's in the world title picture.
Yeah.
I don't really suffer from this. More noble than the match itself is that Drew McIntyre comes out afterwards. He stands toe-to-toe with Lashley. They have a bit of a scuffle. The refs try to break up, fail, and get the trainees to come in.
Yeah.
Therefore making the presumable social distancing measure of putting up the plexiglass completely pointless, as all the trainees come to break them apart. I'm not saying, like, obviously if these people are in the arena, they're probably, like, being safe with it. It's just funny that the plexiglass feels like a measure to show the distance / safety thing, just to have everyone come into the ring anyways.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Either way, that's where we end off the night, with Drew and Lashley being forced away from each other, wanting to tear each other's throats, which is a classic main event, like, build-up thing.
Yeah. All in all, I thought this Raw was a lot stronger than last week's.
Yeah, I think this Raw was fine.
There was a lot of segments, a lot of character building, a lot of strong points in the character building as well. Like seeing a lot more of Nikki Cross without Alexa Bliss doing most of the talking. The iconic shine.
There wasn't really anything that fell flat.
No.
There were some moments that could have been better. Again, the women's triple threat match, the
Kevin Owens,
Angel Garza the Kevin Owens Angel Garza match, which we talked about.
Yeah, but everything else it seemed solid.
Yeah, I think it was fairly decent. SmackDown.
Hold on.
Okay, no worries. Need a moment?
I do. I need that window open for a little bit.
Okay. It seems relatively quiet out there now anyways.
Oh.
It seems relatively quiet at the moment anyways, so we'll leave it.
Let me just reply.
Yeah.
Make it sick. And then roll.
We move on to SmackDown, which starts with a bit of a strange outdoors segment. We find Elias injured, being tended to by paramedics.
Let's get it right. It's not just strange. It's a little controversial as well.
So, yeah, we see Elias being tended to by paramedics. Then we see a car, an abandoned car. In the abandoned car is some beer, along with information that shows that it's Jeff Hardy's rental car, which taps into some real life shit with Jeff Hardy. Obviously, he's been known for his DUI and drug incidents in the past.
We get Braun Strowman arriving.
Yeah, he comes forth as a witness to say he saw someone get out of the car and go into the woods. And the crew check out to see Jeff Hardy there, complaining about his head, and he's arrested. The assumption is that obviously he was in the car.
Yeah.
And it's really weird to the real life stuff. The stuff based on reality can be very hit or miss.
Yeah. I mean, it's something WWE have always liked to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sometimes it comes across like, look, if Jeff Hardy was fine with it, then fair play. It just seems like, I don't know. It's just a weird one to touch on.
Yeah. But ultimately, I think, as we'll get to, I think it was a good thing ultimately just because of where it's led to. For instance, we'll get into, because we had some complaints about Jeff Hardy and Sheamus being in the IC title picture. And, well, that's going to get resolved real quick by the end of the night. But after that, we have a meeting with SmackDown roster, obviously, with Jeff Hardy being out of things. We now need to decide who his replacement will be. It is decided that the way it will work is that there will be a Battle Royal. The winner of the Battle Royal will face Daniel Bryan. And then the winner of their match will face AJ Styles at a later date. I don't know if that will be will that be on another SmackDown maybe, or will it be on Backlash? Because it's still 2 weeks ish to go from here.
Yeah. So
it's unclear whether that will be on a SmackDown or if that will be back. I presume it will just be next week's SmackDown or something, but I don't know. With the structure things, you would expect so, because they've been obviously advancing things week by week.
It's for this one. AJ Styles already in the final, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it'll be the winner of Sheamus and Daniel Bryan. I would imagine that would probably be Backlash. Crown the champion at Backlash.
Sheamus and Daniel Bryan happens on SmackDown.
Yeah, I know that, but we're talking about to fight AJ Styles, isn't it?
Yeah, Daniel Bryan will be the one to face AJ Styles. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so, I know, it's weird. We'll see where it goes. We still have 2 weeks to go from here. Whether they'll build up to that match or just have it happen on SmackDown, we'll see. The Battle Royal itself, it's a fairly standard Battle Royal. I feel like, except for the Royal Rumble, Battle Royals are usually kind of boring. They're kind of the same spots over and over. Yeah. There's nothing too special here. It is worth noting, though, that Gable, I'm going to be calling him Gable. If you think I'm going to say the other name, you're wrong. He's Chad Gable. Gable gets some good momentum here. I mean, he takes out Cesaro and Nakamura, and Cesaro has to come back in when the referee's distracted by Nakamura to take him out.
Yeah.
So, Gable push possibly. Beyond that, not too much. It comes down to Jey Uso and Sheamus. The moment Jey Uso got up into the turnbuckle, I could tell where this was going.
The moment Sheamus and Jey Uso were the final.
Yeah.
You knew where this was
going. But I mean,
going.
especially when Jey Uso goes up to do a move from the top rope. When does that ever go well in a over the top rope battle royal?
Look, do you know what? The thing is, I get it. I understand it, right? See, like, I said it with the whole Jimmy situation. I kind of feared where Jey Uso would go, but I kind of like the fact that he was put in this single thing. I feel like under the circumstances as well, where there's limited performance, Jey Uso could actually probably shine in a single capacity.
But yeah, Sheamus hits the bro kick. Sheamus wins. Sheamus and Bryan for the main event of SmackDown. And everyone worried. Would it be longer than 8 seconds? Only time would tell.
It's the WrestleMania rematch we've waited
for. Because, seriously, is that the only major singles match they've had?
Do you know what? As far as I'm aware, yes.
I think so.
I mean, obviously, that one stands out for all the wrong reasons. Yeah. You know, so there's possibilities, because what was that, 2011 or so? So there's possibilities that they have fought again at some point. It's just that one stands out. Yeah. You don't feel like there has been another singles match between the two.
From there, we get Lacey Evans versus Sonya Deville.
Yeah.
Honestly, this match was pretty bad.
It really was, and you know the double.
Lacey Evans has looked good. Sonya Deville's looked really good.
But in this, they both looked pretty bad.
Yeah, and as you said, it ends in a double counter. Lacey Evans throws Sonya Deville into the announce table, which prompts somehow the worst of Sonya Deville. Yeah. And by worst, I don't mean in the same sense as when she was angry at Mandy Rose and we got a really good heel thing out of her. I mean, Deville's like saying, we'll fight on my terms, Blondie.
Yeah.
Is, oof.
Yeah, it's cringy.
That is bad.
Yeah.
It was a real bad, that entire thing left a bad taste in my mouth. Because I already know the Lacey Evans and Sonya Deville, even though I've only really seen them since some of this main roster push from the last month or two. Even despite that, I know they're capable of more than this.
Yeah.
This was the sense of they were given no time. And we moved from one segment that was kind of bad to another segment that I didn't really like. The moment of bliss. Wow. Yeah. Jinx. So Big E and Kofi are the guests. And it is fine at first. Big E, Kofi, Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss, they have some good chemistry. They have something going on here a bit.
Yeah. It's when Bayley and Sasha
Banks come out. Bayley can be hit or miss for her promos as heel Bayley. I think heel Bayley was a good move, and I think she's mostly good. But then she has these moments where she comes off with what I said, where the obnoxious level becomes so much that it's actively...
Yeah.
It's unwatchable. It's not just like, oh, I don't like her, and I'm not meant to like her. It's like, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not enjoying myself at this point. It wasn't good. And we got the exact same thing we got from before, where it just ends with Bayley throwing Banks under the bus and putting her into a random match she's not happy with.
Do you know what, right? Let's call it how it is, right? Bayley and Sasha Banks, they made this segment like turn flat.
Yeah.
But the New Day's reactions through the whole thing is phenomenal. And Alexa Bliss counting championships.
Yeah.
And then, where's your sweetheart? To Sasha Banks. That had me.
No, yeah.
I thought that was brilliant.
That's the thing. Bayley and Banks were really the weak point of this entire thing. But this leads to Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks. And more so than the match itself. The match is fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine. Banks and Bliss are both good. They put on a fine match. I think they could do a lot more if they have a lot more time for a match. That's not really the point, though. I want to point out Nikki Cross on commentary, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you notice she actually got Cole a few times?
Yeah, quite a few.
And it's almost like she made Cole better. Like she made him there was more to him during this match in terms of commentary than we usually see out of him.
Yeah. And
I really like that.
It's like Nikki Cross brought the best of Michael Cole back.
And I think that shows, Michael Cole is a good commentator.
Yeah.
I think he's hampered by the fact that, again, with the same things like with some of the superstars, where their team are much more heavily regulated now, oftentimes, he falls under a problem of not having really any character because he's both the play-by-play guy, but also he's constantly being talked to in his ear.
Yeah.
And it's not like when Jim Ross used to do it, where he had the ability to have sort of a character. And Michael Cole doesn't have the advantage of when the few times he was on Raw back in the 90s, where he was actually the colour guy for Jim. So, it's good to see a good performance from him because I know he's capable of it. It's just with the way WWE works now, as with a lot of the talent that have to talk, he doesn't really get to show it as much.
Yeah.
But the match is fine. It normally ends with a bit of a weird, chaotic ending where Bayley tries to interfere, Nikki tries to stop her from interfering. This ends up with Nikki being knocked into Bliss, which ends with Banks being able to get the win.
Yeah.
And
your typical heel.
Yeah.
Sort of
it was fine. And really, the high point was just listening to commentary.
Yeah, but
which is a weird thing to say in this day and age of commentary.
I think
in
WWE.
WWE.
At the same time, the win's fine in a sense that with the segment sort of there to make Sasha look really weak, the win here made her still look strong and relevant.
Yeah.
And it still puts her in that sort of predicament where we can still viably get that Bayley Sasha Banks feud that we're sort of expecting, but it's sort of like, all right, when are you gonna do this now?
Yeah, hopefully soon, because it's getting to the point where I just won't stop.
Yeah,
it's starting to drag now.
Yeah, on a more positive note, we get this announcement that they're gonna see a vacation clip from
Mandy
Rose
yeah, that's right. We'll get to that, but just before that, we have Cesaro and Chad Gable.
Yes.
Which is a really strong match. I thought this was really good for both of them. Cesaro getting to do a lot of these.
Do you really have to squeak?
It's like a truck or something, and it's
big red truck.
Yeah. We get to see a lot of really good stiff hits from Cesaro, uppercuts. You know, he's a great striker. And Chad Gable, I don't understand. I'm going to talk about an angle that happened a while ago now, just briefly. Okay. I'm not gonna. Okay. I don't want to tangent for too long, but how the fuck do you do an angle storyline in which if you're going the illegitimate son storyline is stupid.
Yeah. He
could have just had a protege, but if you're gonna do that, why have the two technical wrestlers that you have in this stable? You look to Jason Jordan.
Yeah.
I see a problem here.
Yeah.
Chad Gable's right here.
Yeah.
And given how he performs in this match, I can totally see the Chad Gable cut angle thing. It's so weird that they look to Jason Jordan, didn't notice his tag team partner just right there next to him. It baffles me that that's what they went with. Regardless, Chad Gable, really good suplexes, really good technical work from both wrestlers. And Chad Gable won.
Yeah. And for a further note as well, for further reading, if you are invested in how it would have planned out if Chad Gable had been the illegitimate son, there is that What Culture guy who actually does that story.
Yeah.
How that would have played out in his mind.
Yeah.
So that's a good, interesting watch.
Yeah.
I got behind that one. A lot more than I got behind the Jason Jordan one. It made more sense.
It does. We're not even necessarily... It's not really about racing. I still think the entire idea of it being a legitimate sign is stupid anyways. It really just would have made more sense if it was like... if you took both of them on it, it was just Team Angle 2.0.
Yeah.
It was just really weird. And ultimately it led to nothing. Because where is Jason Jordan now? I think he's
a producer.
Yeah, I mean... whatever. It's stupid. It was pointless. But this match was pretty fucking good. I wasn't expecting much from this match, to be honest. I'm not expecting much from Chad Gable currently at the moment due to his stupid gimmick.
Yeah.
Hopefully it leads to an actual push.
I mean, he's just knocked off Cesaro, so, you know.
Next we did get the Mandy Rose Notice segment, which is really nice, very simple, very silly. There's like that fun sort of, there's sort of fun. Chaz had to remind me of the pick. Because of course he did. I had to see that pick again. But really good. I really enjoyed it. It was just a lot of fun. Like a lot of these segments are. I'm still baffled by how much fun there is in the Rose Otis thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's still not like going overboard.
No.
You know, it's still making you invest. You're still getting that same feeling.
I love these two.
It's amazing. Then we get the Matt Riddle coming to SmackDown package.
I think that's great. I think Matt Riddle's great.
I love Matt Riddle.
I think Matt Riddle's really good.
He's a great personality. He's obviously a talented wrestler. So yeah, I think
this makes the most sense as well, considering he's a tag partner. They tried to replace his tag partner.
That didn't work.
Pete Dunne, who is obviously still in the UK, can't really get to the US at the moment due to how things are. I think they tried to replace him, but I think the next best choice would just be to repackage him as a singles person on SmackDown. I don't know if he'll end up with someone or if we'll just end up with like a Angle being his manager and being a singles thing. It'll be interesting to see because Matt Riddle's good. Kangle's a good choice for his manager. It goes back into the whole thing of like, you know, this sort of worked fine with the American Alpha guy. It's back when. But yeah, that's good. It'll be exciting to see where Matt Riddle goes. Hopefully, one of the good ones that come from NXT and not one of the people that just ends up getting released in like a year. After that, we had our main event, which was Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan.
Well, we had Miz and John Morrison give their little brief, you know, what we're gonna do to Braun Strowman.
That's right. I forgot about that. It's not even in my notes.
It's simple. Let's be fair. We know
where that's going.
They ain't doing anything at Backlash.
We know where that's going.
It's just funny that they think they know what they're doing at Backlash.
But yeah, the main event. It's a long one.
It is.
It's a long one.
It is. It's more than 11 seconds.
We actually got to see Sheamus and O'Brien work together, and honestly, it was pretty good.
Decent match.
I feel like this isn't the most they could do together. Knowing like the high points of Sheamus's career in terms of matches and Daniel Bryan's, but it was still a really solid match. I mean, it's definitely an improvement over the WrestleMania match. That's obvious. There's no AJ Lee there to ruin it by giving Daniel Bryan the kiss of death. Sorry, AJ Lee isn't redacted. Although we're seeing Punk there now as a backstage guy, I guess it's fine.
I mean, as good as the match was, the ending was just as good.
Yeah. So this is what I mean, because the ending is that Sheamus looks like he's going to win. He's setting up for the bro kick. But then Jeff Hardy comes out. Yeah. He's been released, obviously. And he comes out. He stops. He distracts Sheamus long enough for Daniel Bryan to get the running knee and to win the match. And Daniel Bryan will go off to face AJ Styles. And this leads us back into the Jeff Hardy-Sheamus feud, which we were hoping we'd get, and we're worried we weren't going to get after they ended up having in the IC title match.
But now it looks like we're getting it.
So, should we just talk about how, obviously, the angle is going to be that Sheamus framed Jeff Hardy with the car?
Yeah, we could say that.
Like, as far as the plot goes, we know exactly where the storyline's going. But it'll be interesting to see how they fight in matches and if they have any more to show than they did in their IC title tournament match.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I always expected this match to be a Backlash match. I always kind of thought, why put it for the Intercontinental?
Luckily, it seems they did have something in mind.
Yeah, they put a story to it.
Yeah, which is
fine.
Made me feel better about the previous match they had.
Yes,
for sure. So I'm going to say I think Raw was the stronger show.
Yeah.
I think SmackDown was pretty weak. It had. We spoke about Raw where other than 2 matches that we thought could have gone on longer or had a bit more going on to them, there wasn't much to really complain about on Raw as such. With SmackDown, there was like 2 or 3 matches that had like kind of weak endings. There were segments that fell really flat. It was even the best moments were pretty standard, other than like say the Nikki Cross on commentary or the surprisingly decent Cesaro Chad Gable match. It was just
and the holiday video package.
Yeah, SmackDown was very fine. Raw was a bit more than fine. Yeah. I would say. I don't think there's too much of a gap. I don't think Raw was anything spectacular. But there was nothing really to complain about. Whereas SmackDown, I have a few actual grievances with how it was booked in the end.
All in all, we can say it was a lot better than last week's show.
Yeah, it was good. So we're getting pretty close to Backlash at this point. We're getting some decent build.
Yeah.
I feel like we had a good idea of the card.
Next week will be the predictions?
Possibly. We'll make sure.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we're sure on the dates of that one. So, yeah, it's a strong week, and we will be doing a reaction show for Backlash finally with video.
Yes.
We do have plans to work that one out. So, hopefully we'll get to that and you'll enjoy that one. But We hope you enjoyed this week of Raw's Run. If you have any thoughts that differ from ours, or if you agree with us on anything, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Until next time, I've been Hal.
I've been Chaz.
We shall see you next time.